Are you a good writer? Do you have the skills and the qualities what it takes to be a good writer? This week on MCrider, we're going to help you answer that question, and we're going to look at an interesting psychological phenomena that affects the way we perceive our writing abilities. I found this article written by Condon for Motorcyclist magazine. I found it really interesting, so I thought I'd share a little bit with you today what I found in that article. No matter what skill set we're talking about, when people are surveyed to assess their own abilities in any particular task, they frequently overestimate their abilities or their skills at that given task. Now, I saw this firsthand when I was teaching the basic writer course. We would open up the classroom portion of it the very first day, and we would ask people, about their background, what kind of writing experience they've got, what types of motorcycles they were interested in, those types of questions. And invariably, there would be always one, usually quite a few writers in the class that had writing experience, and several of them would talk about, hey, they've been writing for 10 years, they just need to come in and get their license, or that they were only here to support a family member who has taken the class. Many of them would tell about trips that they'd taken across the country. And when I first started hearing these types of people, I would make a mental note, say, okay, check next to this writer, they're experienced writer, they may not need as much help as some of the others. But I quickly learned not to trust that mental note and not to trust a writer's self-evaluation of their skills, because often when we would get out on the motorcycle and they were forced to ride within a controlled environment, stop the motorcycle here, go through the corner using these cones as guides or these lines as guides, they were often unable to perform just basic motorcycle control skills. Now, I don't believe these people were lying to me. I believe they came in thinking that they had better than average motorcycle skills, but there was something that was causing them to perceive their abilities at a level that was different from reality. In fact, this is an actual psychological phenomenon referred to as the Dunning Kruger effect, where they did a study in 1999, and it was entitled Unskilled and Unaware of It. Now, they weren't particularly testing for motorcycle skills, but just general skills. But the same thing holds true across all kinds of disciplines, that people tend to overestimate their abilities to perform a task. And part of the problem with our self-assessment is that there's no standards of performance. So if I ask you, are you a good street writer? Compared to what? How do we define what a good street writer is? So this week, let's define some things that make up a good street writer, and we'll see how you fare in this and if there's certain things that you need to work on as a result of it. If you went to a sport bike night and you asked the riders there what made up a good rider, some of the answers you'd probably get is being able to ride quickly through corners, being able to put a knee down as they ride through the canyons, through the corners, or maybe riding a wheelie for an extended period of time. All of those would be very typical answers that you'd find at a sport bike night to define a good rider. If you were hanging out with cruisers, people who ride cruisers, and you ask them what defined a good rider, they may tell you the ability to handle an 800-pound motorcycle in cones and tight patterns, to get through those quickly and to be able to have maximum control of that big heavy motorcycle in tight patterns. So what defines a good rider? Here are some basic qualities that I feel makes up a good rider on the street. First of all, good riders rarely have a close call. So if you're riding and you frequently have cars pull out in front of you or they're cutting you off, it might be time to reevaluate your riding strategy. Next, good riders have a sixth sense. They recognize and react to hazards before they ever materialize. So this is only developed by riding in the moment and using good visual skills. And this can be developed by recognizing potential hazards before they actually become one and using a good road strategy. Next, good riders know their own limits and the limits of their motorcycles. While a corner can be ridden faster or the lean angle can be increased through a corner, a good rider will remain well within their traction limits, their skills, and the abilities of their motorcycle in order to keep traction, time, and space in reserve for the what-ifs in riding. Good riders are going to practice the basic skills in order to perfect them, like braking and cornering. No one is born with the skill to ride a motorcycle. It's a learned experience. It's a learned technique. And it's a perishable skill that's going to be lost without regular dedicated practice. I mean, even the layoff of the winter, your skills are going to deteriorate some as you put the motorcycle up for the winter. Next, the best riders are eager to learn and practice new skills. They seek advice, they learn from others, they seek reliable information to become better riders. It's kind of a thing of humility in order to admit that, hey, I need to work on this, or I need to continue to develop that skill, and to seek out people who can help you develop that skill. As we went through that list, were there a few things that popped up and you said in the back of your mind, yeah, I need to keep working on that, or I need to continue developing that skill, or here's something that I can work on? I know for me, I'm still continuing to work on really tight patterns and the control skills like you see in the police competitions, and that's something that's challenging me and something that I'm having fun and learning to get better at. So what is it for you? What is it that you need to continue to work on and you need to continue to develop? If we went through that list and you thought, hey man, I've achieved that, or I'm already good at that, and there's nothing that I need to work on, you may be one of those people that has a higher sense of your skills or abilities than what's in reality. Patrons here on MCrider have access to the field guide, where we have control exercises that you can work on, and you can refresh in your skills, or you can develop those skills and see how they meet up with reality and your ability to handle a motorcycle in a controlled environment. So if you'd like to get access to the field guide, you can go to mcrider.com/support and you can learn more about the field guide. So I like to sum up good riding for myself with this saying, and that I want to develop my skills to the best of my ability, and then I want to ride on the street in a manner that I rarely need to use those skills. So my video from last week, I didn't show my coworker in that video, and I got a lot of comments, people asking me where my coworker was. Well, this week he's helped at least double the amount of time that it's taken me to produce this video by making noises similar to that while I've been trying to record. So Major's doing his job, and he's helping out here with the videos. And as you can see, he's grown quite a bit. And right now, as usual, he wants down. So until next week, guys, this is Kevin with MCrider. And me and Major, well, at least I will. I'll see you on the road. MCrider is supported by our friends on Patreon. To learn how to support MCrider and get access to the field guide, go to mcrider.com/support.